Hey, Scooter here for Scooter and Rude Do, and we are joined by Joe with FinFX. He's going to get us into the Halloween spirit by turning me into a zombie. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, absolutely. My name's Joe, and I am a professional makeup artist, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a demo on some quick and easy zombification that you can do right from the comfort of your own home. And we'll do doing a step-by-step to kind of teach you about how it's done. All right, and so, first things first, mints. You may ask, why mints? You're going to be right up and close personal in somebody's face, and there's nothing worse than having bad breath. So we always start with a mint.
That's just polite.
Absolutely. So we are going to be eating mints while on mic, so also very professional. Second thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be removing any kind of makeup or oils on the face of your model. That was actually a really good idea on that drop cloth. All right, we're using a little bit of astringent just to remove everything so we can get proper adhesion with our makeup. This is also a great time to find out if your model has any sort of allergies. Latex, cream makeup, astringent.
Thankfully, I'm good.
Fun in general.
That I am allergic to, straight up.
There we go. Okay, so every proper zombie that you've ever seen on TV has different levels of makeup appliance. Those ones that you see on The Walking Dead and things like that, they've got very heavy appliances. Which means it's things that have been pre-made and then glued on the skin, and then they use makeup to hide the seams. We're going to be going a little bit easier than that. We're going to be creating that illusion with just makeup. So I am going to be applying a bit of a basic greenish hue right here to her skin. Give her that tallowed look of the rotting of the fatty corpuscles.
Oh, nice.
Big words. I looked them all up before I came here. You wouldn't really see very much of that in the flat areas of the skin. That's going to be where the skin has stretched and tightened. So it'll be mostly in the cheeks areas, maybe a little bit on the sides of the nose, the jowls area. So we don't have to do too much here. It also is going to go in and remove a little bit of the redness.
I probably shouldn't have laid in the sun for a little bit today. That's really the exact opposite of a zombie.
Oh, that's fine because we're going to be covering all that up here. This is basically just applying a foundation here, so evening out the tone of all your skin here. There we go. Very, very light green hue. We're going to be going in and adding more to that in a bit here. Okay, now we're going to take a brush. And which one do we want to use here? I like this one. Now we're going to be going in and defining specific areas. We're going to be accentuating the cavity of the eyes. We're going to be adding definition, putting in temples, defining features, basically to make those pop out to make it look like she's been dead for a little while here. So I always genuinely start with the eyes and then you flow out from there. And here's a big point. Always study your anatomy books if you have any, because they will show you exactly where to put these things. You're going to be using your own models as skeletal features to accentuate where the makeup's going to go, and to use the makeup to accentuate those skeletal features. They go hand in hand. If you've ever seen old Halloween pictures where there's a line here and a line here on Dracula makeup, that's because they weren't using it. So we'll show you that along the way here. I'm using a bit of a purple color in here to get more of a sunken eye kind of look, because it's actually to show deep blood vessels inside the skin. Using black, kind kind of works if you're going to a really quick Halloween party or if it's all they have, but I say why not go with something that'll make everybody go, wow, that looks really amazing, because it looks real. If you've ever seen somebody get a black eye before, it's never black. It's purple. The makeup that I'm using right here is called it's a makeup wheel by Bed & I Products called the Monster Wheel. It's got a bunch of different natural colors in it. One of the many wheels that they offer.
I'm a big fan of their pure white when I'm doing my Dios de los Muertos makeup.
The pure white, the clown white, or the cakey pure white?
Mm-hmm. The cakey pure white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a cream makeup man, and when my wife does makeup, she likes the cakes. I don't have the patience for cake. And I'm never just going in and drawing lines yet. First, I'm putting in some makeup, and then I'm actually using my finger to blend it in. It's kind of like doing handheld airbrush work here. All right, open your eyes, but look way up for me. I'm going to do some under eye stuff right here. The crook of your thumb is going to make a very good palette to take makeup off your brush so you can do blending with it. Keep an eye open, like your model is, watch the natural folds of their skin, because it will help you out. And a lot of times you can get them to reveal those folds by having them look as far up as they really can, or open their mouth really, really wide. Go ahead, like make it with face. You see how it makes this line here, and you get the line right here. These ones, we're gonna be bringing those out later. It'll help too when she goes to a party and wants to make a scary face, because it'll accentuate those. Okay, turn your head here. Now that we've gotten the eye a little bit done here, don't worry, we're coming back to it. I'm going to do the temple right here. Basically a half circle, just like that. Okay. And then we take it and we just blend everything inwards. Give the illusion of depth. Okay. And since we did the first part there, we're going to come up here and we can actually see where her actual temple line is right there. And this goes into the hairline. That's another trick you'll learn when doing makeup stuff, is nothing ever stops at the hairline. It accentuates through it. And then we blend in. And never worry about putting too much in, because you can always go in and take it away.
I have to say, this is oddly relaxing.
Mm-hmm. And when you brush everything inward, it creates a little bit of depth, which makes the skin right here darker, so that temple pops out, because it's actually got natural highlights in there. Okay, so now turn your head here, scowl a little bit for me if you would. Perfect. Get those eye lines right there. Using her scowl again for me here. Using her natural features, we're going to accentuate those so that they can be seen from afar. Even maybe some of these little lines right in here. Okay, let's do this other eye here real quick.
All right.
Close your eye for me. We did a show one time, Shakespeare show, and I had to paint some witches using this method of zombie, essentially. you know, making them, and it was a very quick change. So I think I did a full entire zombie like this. It took 2.5 minutes. Got it down to. But then again, it was for the stage, so it was a lot more forgiving for things. There wasn't really a lot of close-up stuff, so it was things were made to be accentuated. There we go. At this process here, your model is going to look kind of just like a raccoon. So look up for me, open your eye. But don't worry, it all comes full circle here. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to bring out her temples and this line right there. So basically same thing we did for the other side. All right, now that we've got the head up here done and the temples and we've done some work on the eyes, now we're going to go and do the cheek line. When I accidentally draw on your model here. The cheek line is more than just a line down and a line down. You've got to follow the natural cheek of the person. So we can see here she's got a high cheekbone. So it's going to start at the temple. It's going to come down. And the cheekbone is not a line, it's rounded. So you're going to round it, and then you're going to come down to meet where the jowl line comes in. So, what that looks like here. Come this way. And never worry about making a mistake, because you can always blend it in. There we go, there it is. And a lot of this makes more sense with the more anatomy books that you look at. So definitely grab those if you can. Or use the internet because everything's free nowadays. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to say, beware any tutorials on the internet for makeup applications. Beware them. A lot of them are pretty good, but a lot of them are incredibly dangerous. So, if you ever see a makeup tutorial, research it. You know, find if other ways are good, because I've seen a lot of them where they say to use latex on somebody's face and put it in their eyebrows. Don't do that. That will allow you to have to remove their eyebrows later. So always be very conscious of what you're putting on somebody's face. And just because the internet says so. I'm actually, what I'm using is 100% all theatrical makeup base. So everything that is here has specific rules, and there's plenty of actual tutorials from the makeup companies themselves for applications and practices. So okay, so now we've got a dark shadowy base here. What we're going to do is we're going to add some other colors because her skin's not entirely completely based on purple. So we're going to add some red for a nice shadowy effect here. We're just going to go right into the crevice here. Just blend it in. And since red is a component of purple, it'll blend nicely. Give a more gross look to it. We're actually going to go and kind of any place that we've gone ahead that we've added purple, we're going to go and add a little bit of red to it. Not too much, just enough to accentuate the dark purple here. Because basically, we're creating a field of depth. You're taking a 3D object, applying something that's 2D to make even more 3D. Feel free to add some spots here and there. Give it that stippled effect called stippling. Okay, and then we're gonna go back to that lovely green color that we had, and we're gonna accentuate some of the highlights now. I'm using the green as a low level highlight. I don't even know if that's the real term, I just made that up. Using that too. Then we'll use some gray on top of it here, which adds a bit of a blue. The color that I'm using here is the gray color is called Ghoul Gray. It's a popular Ben Nye color. It's Uncle Fester essentially is Ghoul Gray. The purple color, probably my favorite Ben Nye color of all time. I use it in pretty much everything I use. Is called Misty Violet. I even think I memorized the number. I think it was like CL17 or something like that. Yep, CL17. Each palette has a specific number for the wheel, so if you need more, you can always get it. We can even add some of your favorite white in here. Just to give you a nice little sheen to it. And then we're going to go back to our favorite little purple color here because it's basically our outlining color. Kind of re-accentuate those curve lines. And then blend it in a little bit more. Okay, now that we've done that, there we go. Now we're gonna do one of my favorite parts, and that's this line. Give me a sneer, would you? Like, okay. You see how this line up on the nose comes down? I love it. I have no idea what it's called, but we're gonna call it septum enhancement. Basically, you take your brush, start right here where the crease starts, and just follow it right down. And then you take your finger right over the top of it and just drag it down, ba-boof. And it follows that line of the sneer and gives you a nice proper shadow. Go ahead and sneer again. See that? Nice. Go ahead and sneer again for me. Hold that pose for a minute. We're going to kind of just keep that line going right down into the cheek line right there. There we go. Like I said before, zombie makeup is incredibly easy if you just let their body tell you where to put the makeup. Okay. All right, now face me here. Okay, there we go. We've got the other side looking good. Add just a little bit of gray here. Oh yeah, so over here on this side, we've added a highlight wheel to give the eye cavity a bit of a ridge. We're going to do it on this side here to match it. And all that is taking a thin line of that same kind of purple. Let me jazz this one up here a little bit more. Right like that. And going about maybe just 1/8 of an inch below it and drawing a line. Basically from the back of the eye up to the front of the eye. And then taking most of the makeup right off your brush, just blending it in. You can use your finger if you want, but since it's a small, very thin line, sometimes it's easier to use your brush for blending. I very rarely actually use sponges, as I prefer to use the actual brush to do the blending. But I mean, it's all going to be up to preference. So maybe put a little bit more back in. And I'm actually going to come across here to show the tightening of the flesh, and I'm going to connect these two lines right here. Like that. We'll just blend it here. And get these little scowling ridges. Right now they don't look too much, but for example, go ahead and scowl right at the camera. You see that? So they follow that? I'm actually gonna enhance these natural lines right here too as well. Okay, relax it. There we go. And since these colors are basically water-based, your model might actually start to absorb some of the color. So do not worry if you see the makeup starting to kind of fade a little bit. Just go back and add more on top. Plus, once we set it, it'll come right back, and we'll get into that in a second here. So now that we've got this part done, I'll come up here and enhance these brow lines. In fact, let's add a little bit of green up in here. So kind of keep the motif going here. Maybe a little green on the nose. I always come up, artistic trademark. Put a couple lines across the nose. Little V shape. Now that we've gotten this makeup here, I don't want this to go anywhere, because if I were to run my hand across it, it's going to smear it. Makeup. So we're going to be setting it with powder. And this is probably my favorite, as the makeup artist, this is my favorite part, because you get to pummel your model completely with a brush here. So basically what setting powder does is it puts a nice coating over the top of makeup and creates a barrier between everything you don't want smearing your makeup and your makeup. So go ahead and tilt your head back. We're going to close your eyes. We're going to be applying just a liberal amount of powder right to her face here. Just all over the place. And it's going to get all over the shirt and everything like that. So make sure you're not in somebody's really nice house doing this. If they don't want it to look a little gross. Okay. You can use a puff. You can use a brush. You can use whatever you want. I like a brush because it allows me to just basically work it into the makeup essentially. Kind of how, if you're going to relate it to cooking, it'd be like putting some flour on top of, cookie batter, essentially. Makes it less sticky, makes it a little bit more pliable. Right? And then you just brush the rest of it off. Oh, I missed a little spot right here. Basically, you're also taking away the glare that the makeup creates, too. So we're at any place that she looks sweaty or greasy is where we're doing it. Especially in the crooks of the eyes, be careful right there because they're closed right now, so they're squinting, so they're going to trap some of that makeup in there, so it'd be hard to get to with the powder. Okay, let me brush off the shirt a little bit. I always like them to be in full if I'm doing a movie or anything like that, I usually like them to be in their costume first, and then you can put a little bib around them for makeup. Or you know, if they can put on their costume without touching their face. So, okay, go ahead and open your eyes for me. All right, and see now we can touch the makeup without it coming off. And it's gotten rid of a lot of that glare that was there. So now we're going to be moving on to the neck work. All right, because no zombie has ever just been gross right here and then like completely fine down the neck. So, and this is one of my favorite parts because we're going to be using all of her natural crevasses here to accentuate where these are. So we're going to start with her neck muscles. We're going to start with this one right here. Muscles and tendons. And I go right up to the ear. And I come down. And I'll show you this here in a second. Just a simple line. And blend it in. Okay? Go ahead and turn your head right here. So right from the ear, right down. And what's nice about this is once we're completely done, whenever she turns her head, the neck muscles and the tendons are going to follow because they're on those neck muscles and tendons. Okay, so come back over here. And the back of this muscle comes right up from behind the ear. There we go. And this is where once you've kind of mastered how the neck works, this is where a lot of people are going to marvel at your makeup skills. They're going to go, wow, because it's going to get very busy in the neck here. Because there's a lot of tendons and muscles and ligaments and all kinds of fun stuff. I generally like to do a dark lines and then blend them out because it makes the neck muscles stand in essentially. Okay, look up for me here. Got that one there. Now I'm just going to do the trachea. All the way right down here to the collarbone. And never worry about making a mistake. Because there is no such thing as a mistake in makeup. Because a mistake you can completely go back over and redo if it doesn't look right. Or you can cover it with blood later. Blood hides any imperfections that you may come across. Okay, so let's do here, this line of the trachea. Just so I can... We're going to focus on one side and then speed around the other here. I want to start it with very even here. And I go right up under the chin line. And you don't have to worry about connecting things because when she's looking straight forward, it's all right there. So unless people are getting all the way down and under, it really won't matter where you end it, just as long as it's at the neckline. Turn your head like that a little bit. I like to come up under here and add a bit of a shadow right there to show where it blends in. Just like that. And I do the same thing right here where the muscles meet up with the trachea. Blend it in. And then you can actually come in here and do your, little lines across the trachea, give it that real gross turkey neck esophagus looking. There's a zombie in the wall. Just a nice blend across. And we won't really too much worry about those lines. That's just for funsies. Maybe even darken up this area a little bit to really show that trachea is going behind there. You can bring your head back a little bit. Your model will not be this compliant. Your model will go, oh, are we done yet? I want to look at it. All kinds of stuff. Especially if they're actors. Actors don't do anything but complain. All right, so now we're going to give the breastbone a little bit of work here. We'll worry about that side later. Yeah, this part is probably the most fun because it's basically paint by numbers here. So you're finding where their natural muscles are, their ligaments and everything, and accentuating the ones that stand out and regressing the ones that don't. Because that's exactly what a zombie looks like. It's decomposing human flesh. Okay, and what I like to do a little bit of fun here. There's a ligament that goes like this, so we're just going to add that in because you really can't see it all that much. So we're going to do a nice hefty line right down to the muscle here on both sides, two lines, just like that. Okay, you're going to give it a 3D effect by going over this muscle like this, and then down the backside. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to blend it in. First thing I like to do, run your hand along it. That smooths out the actual lines that you've just drawn. Kind of gives you an idea of where to do the shadows. There we go. And of course you can always edit them, doctor them a little bit, make them a little thicker, a little thinner on the fly. You're not a fly, you're a model. I'll clear out some of the makeup on the brush here. Be like a grotesque Bob Ross and just lots of blending. Because this legitimately is essentially art. There's no wrong way to do art. I really hope that's just whispered in on the audio right there. And then a disclaimer, do not use baby intestines. I'm going to make this an editing nightmare for Wade. You were the Black Eyed Peas?
Ah, yes.
Edit that joke out, that was dumb.
Edit the whole story out.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
And done.
Okay, so now say we've gotten her neck right here, and what's really kind of neat before we add any highlights or anything like that, go ahead and just look up, and then look all the way at that wall. Look all the way at this wall over here. You see how it moves with her, using her own natural skeletal structure. All right, so I kind of want it to match this color pattern up here. So
anatomy, Joe.
Anatomy. I don't make up half the words I use anyway. Spudwinkle. So add some green. There we go. And this will be where we talk about how this is for a party you had to go to tonight. You needed to call somebody real quick to make you look like a zombie.
So if I wanted to do this for myself, going out to a party, what were some helpful tips? Maybe
You hire Joe to come over at reasonable rates. Set that one right up for you. No, it's actually a lot tougher to do makeup on yourself, believe it or not. Because number one, you're doing it in front of a mirror, so you're having to use backward movements and everything. So it takes a lot of practice. But it's a little bit easier because you can feel where your cheekbones are and things like that, and you can trace them out and everything. But it is a lot easier to do it on somebody else. So I'll give you that. But it's not that bad.
So maybe recruit a roommate or...
Yeah, recruit a roommate. Tell them to watch this video 300 times. Subscribe, share. That's the only way that they'll be able to comprehend the complexities of what we're doing here. It shouldn't be too bad. It's actually not too bad. It's a lot of fun, especially once you get practice at it. You'll find that it all of a sudden becomes real easy. And as soon as you go out looking like this, people will ask, "Hey, who did that?" And you'll be like, "I did." And they'll go, "Come do that for me." And then you say, "Give me money." And they'll go, "I'll do it myself." And you go, "Watch this video." Tells you how to do it.
And that is how I learned to do my Dios de los Muertos makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it on YouTube over and over and kept pausing and running to the bathroom. And I should have, in hindsight, just gotten a mirror that I could set near the computer.
That's great. Now they have those things on phones now, so.
Mm-hmm. Had to go old school back in the day.
Mm-hmm. I started doing this before YouTube and everything. I didn't even know this was a thing. I just saw it. Honestly, I just loved looking at old pictures of movies and Halloween packaging. And I said, well, if it's done here, it's obviously able to be done at home. But then again, the makeup that you find, the typical Halloween stores, is very, very, very thin and watery and doesn't stay on the skin very well. So, same kind of process. Just it depends on the materials, Okay, there we got that right there. I like that. I'm going to add a little bit of darker in here. I'll even come up here a little bit and just do some real ugly lines to give a kind of a sinewy effect in the skin. Like that. Okay, now let's add a little bit of red and we'll be done with this side. And do not be dissuaded if your sides don't match. Your body type is not completely symmetrical, so nothing should ever be completely mirrored 100%. So if you find that you did one side perfect and the other side you just can't get to look right, go with it.
My aunt has a theory on art. It's if you mess up, figure out how you can hide it, fix it, or embrace it.
Yep. The old Bob Ross, happy mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Happy little mistakes. Perfect. All right. Now, just because there's a lot of work here, we're going to set this side. Really press that powder into the makeup. dust away. And if you're going to be going out and you know that you're going to be in a hot night where you're going to be sweating a lot, or there's going to be a lot of movement, things are definitely going to brush up, you can actually take it a step further and use there's a multitude of different products out there. This is called Final or Natural Set. It's basically a Ben Nye product. They've also got things called like Final Seal and things like that, which is basically a spray-on compound that you spray on afterwards, and it will also set it even more. Professional wrestlers, because they're rubbing their makeup and things like that, and they're sweating a lot. There's hot lights from the sets. They will use that. Also, hairspray works as well too. So if we wanted, we could spray hairspray on it, and that would really lock in that makeup as well too.
Yeah, don't do that on your face though with your eyes closed. Might not end the way you want.
There, see now? Neck is pretty much done. So if she's wearing a t-shirt, it'll cover it up just like that. Depends on how far you want to go down with it. You could do rib work, you could do all kinds of grody effects. So now we're going to do the other side to get it to match. Now we're going to go back up, and she's got a little bare chin right here, so I don't like that. So we're going to go and add just a little bit of fun detail here. So we're going to go under the lip, bring that out like that. Blend it in a bit. I always like to give that line right there. And for some reason, artistic choice, I always give people a cleft chin. Boom. Just like that. Why? I don't know. Something I do. If you want, you can give some lines across the lips. Get that old chapped appearance. And you don't want to just go line, very symmetrical. Chapped lips are never. And you can do them from different angles. You can do some from lower, some from up high. You can follow, everybody's got lines in their lips already. You can just find the ones that they have and follow them like that. Maybe one more, right? A couple on the inside right there. Okay, just like that. And take the crook of the mouth, follow it down here a little bit. That way, if she goes, yeah, you can see it, follow it. It'll keep that jowl look going. Plus, it will match the line up here, like that. Really makes the jowls pop. Going into the actual septum, darken that up a little bit, and ladies and gentlemen, you are now zombified.
Do I look scary?
Yeah, but then we added makeup, so that's fine. All right, so now we're going to add a little bit of powder here. We're going to set this. And then we're going to add, okay, ready? Close your mouth. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your mouth. Just stand there. Okay. Now, we get to have a little fun. Smile big for the camera here. A zombie with perfect teeth. Gross. So, we're going to be using this little stuff. I like this. It's legitimately an actual product called Zombie Rot Tooth Color. Adds a little bit extra flair to your costume here. So, comes a little brush. Do me a favor here. If you take a little cotton ball, go ahead and just dry off the front of your front and upper teeth. Front and upper teeth? And the bottom teeth, why not? Basically what this is, it's kind of like nail polish, but for your teeth. And it tastes gross. It's got a little bit of a bitter flavor to it, so be prepared for that. Here, just keep your lips up so your teeth can dry nice and it's not as permanent as nail polish. So if you want, you can brush it away with a toothbrush, but it won't come off if you're with your tongue. So, okay. Now bear in mind, like I said, it's a bit bitter here, okay? And we're not going to do the whole tooth. We're just going to do a little bit here. Hey. You know what? We're actually going to do the whole tooth. And then we're just going to scrape away what we don't want. And I go right to the gum line here. And this prevents the need from having to get fake prosthetic teeth made and things like that. Even maybe some on the gums a little bit. Because it will wear off eventually out through the night. But it's great and it really grosses people out. So we're going to let that dry here. Almost blew on it. How gross would that be? Just blowing into somebody's mouth? Gross. Okay, and I'm going to use the back of my brush here. Okay, and I'm actually just going to scrape some of it away. We're almost dry there. So we're going to... There we go. So you can see it's kind of like congealing essentially. So I'm just going to brush it down so that you get some nice grotesque lines in it. There you go. Okay, close your mouth. No, just gross. Ugh, yuck. And they make it in a bunch of different colors. There's like browns and blacks and everything. But now, what is a zombie without a nice fresh kill? So we're gonna add some blood to it. Nice, right? So I'm gonna take this. This is the Ben Nye brand Stage Blood with a zesty mint flavor. Ooh. I like using this blood a lot because if you get it all over your clothes or anything like that, one of the ingredients is a soap, so it'll actually wash out. Yep. So we're going to fill up a nice cap. You don't need a lot of blood here. So go ahead and just pop that right into your mouth and just let it cascade over your bottom lip. Okay? And just kind of just... Oh, the whole thing. Come on. Come on. It's like Robitussin for dead things. Okay, there you go. All right, and just kind of, yeah, evenly, not just up the front, just evenly all over the lips, yeah. Come on, push it out. Let it drool. There it goes. Oh, the more drips you have, the better it'll look. Oh, yeah, keep going, push it on. That's good. And then you get them gross teeth. Give us a... Yes! And you have now been zombified. That is some gross blood.
Awesome.
Oh, God, Wade fainted. There you go. You're all zombified.
Awesome. I need to see this.
All right. Should we do a reveal?
All right. Oh, that is awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, look at it when you turn your head and the neck work and it matches and
yeah. Oh, and the teeth. The teeth add. If you're gonna be a disgusting zombie. Yeah. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Absolutely,
Joe.
Absolutely.
Like this says Halloween.
Mm-hmm. It also says draw the blinds, don't alert the neighbors. Cops will be showing up.
Let's go take the dog on a walk.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
See what happens there. That's it for this edition of Scooter and Rudo. A huge thanks to Joe with FinFX for making me zombified. This looks amazing, but there's more. Stay tuned. Next episode, Wade's getting done up for Halloween.
Wade's getting wounded.
Oh, I'm so excited. Mm-hmm. Subscribe, like, love you. Bye.
You're like a zombie contemplating the meaning of life. What is brains if not food? Food for thought?